Summer should have been all fair and skittles for West Coast, but it was a disaster. Court cases, player punch-ups, the Ben Cousins drug controversy have tarnished the entire football club. Now more drama. No Dean Fox, no Andrew Embley tonight, both faced with brawls. Can they cast aside all their troubles and defend their title, or the West Coast Eagles implode? We are about to find out. Say hello and welcome to season 2007. Brought to you this year on Channel 10 in high definition. And what a way to start. The grand final rematch between the Sydney Swans and the West Coast Eagles. Michael Voss, Robert Walls, welcome guys. I guess the obvious question is, can the Eagles recover from their biggest controversy in their 21-year history?
Well, I think that they can. But how excited am I about this game?
Pretty big, isn't it?
I just can't wait. I mean, this game was big enough as it was without the build-up that we've had, and we're all waiting in anticipation on just what effect that's going to have the West Coast Eagles.
You've been filthy on the players, Robert, and you were scathing an article today in The Age.
Well, I'm just so disappointed with what's unfolded over the last 6 months, Quarters. This is a team that we marvelled at last year, but they've had a lot of disappointing things coming out of their club. Certainly the drug issue is the main one, and I think that's taken a lot of sheen off that premiership cup that they got last year.
There is their superstar skipper, but there's no Cousins, no Fletcher, no Cox, no Embley. Someone's got to help Chris Judd. Who's it going to be, Michael?
Well, there's 4 missing from that sensational 7, and there's going to be a lot of load put on Kerr and Judd tonight, so they're going to have an even distribution of performance tonight.
Let's listen to the welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with the boys and girls, 2006 players, the West Coast Eagles.
Not very friendly. What a surprise.
No, it's no surprise, is it? I think a lot of these Sydney Swans supporters are thinking, well, perhaps that one last year should have been ours, but that's gone. They've got their opportunity tonight to get the 4 points on the board. Barry Hall, for one, will be absolutely as keen as mustard to make amends.
Let's go to Anthony Hudson as we take a look at the teams.
Thank you, Quarters, and good evening, everyone. What an unbelievable build-up. We've talked about it so much already. It's going to be an extraordinary challenge for the West Coast Eagles without 7 of their players from last year's grand final. And, of course, names like Cousins, Cox, Fletcher, Embley, Hanson missing. And here's some of the second-level midfielders that have to step up. We know about Braun, Selwood and Jones. What about Pritis, Hearn and Rosa? Rosa was good last year, averaged 17 possessions a game in the AFL. Hearn's only played 6. Pritis averaged 32 possessions in the waffle. A big challenge for those second-level Eagles. A big challenge, too, for the Swans. A couple of them have got points to prove. Barry Hall didn't kick a goal in the grand final. And burning also will be Darren Jolly, who was smashed by Cox. That's one of the reasons Spider Everett is in the Swans team, and he will line up tonight alongside Darren Jolly. It's going to be fascinating to see how Big Spider goes, Quarters.
There's Big Peter Everett. Make a hell of a difference, Michael and Rob.
Very well, because Sydney are the #1 team for stoppages. There's a lot of ruck contest. Peter Everett, he's a master of putting the ball to advantage of the smaller players. He'll be a great assist to Jolly. And not many clubs would recruit a 33-year-old. Sydney have, because they know he could be the difference between winning the premiership or not. I believe had he played last year for Sydney, they would have triumphed.
What do you think, Michael?
I think so. I mean, he's very important, but the key aspect of this game in the first 10 minutes is going to be how West Coast control their emotions. It's been a big week, as we know, but they can't come out of full of the gate and spend all their digging before the last quarter. You have to be controlled throughout the first quarter and then really launch their attack from there.
Given all the changes in West Coast lineup, do you think they might do free up goods rather than use him on Judd?
I think so. I would have thought that maybe Roosie might have a change of plan of attack with Judd. We want to shut him down. There's going to be a much more of an onus on Judd now to be able to get a lot of possessions throughout the game.
Out come the Sydney Swans, led by Ryan Oakley.
For the Sydney Swans, let's bring it on.
Got a standing ovation when they hit the ground. Every Sydney Swan supporter got on their feet and they just love this team, and again, they are a team that's experienced. They know what it's like to play in the tight matches and the close matches, and I reckon they've set themselves, they're fitter at this stage than they have been for 5 years come round one.
We just respect them so much, don't we? Their peers. They've been so reliable, consistent. They trust each other. They work for one another. It's endeared and revered by everybody around AFL football.
And Barry Hall at the back there, he didn't have the best of days in the grand final. And he is nice and fired up. He's been talking about it all summer. He wants to make amends. He's got nothing to prove, but he certainly wants to stamp his authority in the competition again early in the year.
Well, there's probably 2 players in the competition right now that demand that authority on a football field. Paul is one, Jonathan Brown is the other. He has such fantastic presence, Wolsey.
Michael, play here at Telstra Stadium. They get 50,000, 60,000 here on a regular basis. What's it like to be the opposition in front of this sea of red and white?
It's one of the loudest crowds that I've experienced in AFL football. We played a preliminary final down here a few years back, and it was the loudest crowd that I've experienced in AFL football.
Okay, how do you think this man to be feeling sitting in the coaching box right now, Ron?
He'll be thinking, I'm so glad that I can do what I do best, and that is coach this team. He can't wait for that opening bounce. He's got very able assistants around him. Once the ball is bounced and the game's in progress, it'll be total focus for the next 2.5 hours.
A monster game in Sydney tonight to start season 2007.